I am going to attempt to use our four-wheeler with the hay rake. I've never done this before, and so this is going to be kind of an interesting challenge, if you will. The biggest issue that I'm going to run into with this is the level at which it connects to the four-wheeler, because the four-wheeler is lower than our tractor. And so this is going to have to connect to the four-wheeler a little lower, which means I'm going to have to make adjustments all the way back on the hay rake. The immediate adjustment that I can see that I'm going to have to make is I'm going to have to raise this part of it all the way up. There are two adjustments for that. One of them is right up front here. I need to get the pin out. Oh boy, everything on this is pretty rusty. I have sprayed it all down with some penetrating oil, but it doesn't make it any easier to get out. That thing is rusty. Now, I should be able to raise it up. It's not... Oh boy, that's not cool. To make life just a wee bit easier, I'm going to put in a non-rusty pin in its place. There we go. I think that'll hold. Now, I need to try and raise this whole thing up. That's about as high as it's going to go. I have a feeling it's going to be very difficult to fit on the back of the four-wheeler. But I am going to try. So what I have done here is a little different. I'm going to stick a pin down in here. I took a hitch piece and stuck it in here between the hitch of the four-wheeler and the hay rake. And then I've stuck a pin down in the bottom. So it's a little bit of a jerry-rig, but I think it'll work. Basically, I needed to get that off the ground enough that I could tow it out into the field, and then I need to have the flexibility to be able to lower it a little bit down into the hay. So I'm hoping that this system works. I don't think I'm going to damage the hay rake or the four-wheeler. I might damage, if anything, the hitch piece, which isn't, you know, that expensive. But I do have enough clearance here to pull it with the four-wheeler, so I'll give it a test run, make sure that it's not pulling too hard on anything, but I think it's going to work. Okay, so with these, you have basically, normally there'd be some sort of string or something along here that you would pull to engage this gear, which spins the rake. Mine's missing that, it's been missing that. So what I do is I just push it in manually, and then on the other side here, I'll stick a pin right into that hole to hold it in place while I mow. That one looks like it's gonna be too big, so I need to go get a smaller one. Okay, that's not an ideal pin for this, but because it could come out, but I'll just have to keep an eye on it, and hopefully it will stay in there and keep this engaged. Might be able to knock it down a little further, but I'm hoping it'll work. That should hold it in place, and I can start tethering. Or hay. Now, as far as the rake itself goes, I do need to get it to touch. So I'm going to lower it until my rake pieces are touching. Not completely touching. They just need to be low enough that I'm just barely scraping. I am on this side. She tells me this is a little uneven. It's off the ground. It's barely off the ground. This side is way off the ground. One more notch. Okay, that should be good to go. So I'm gonna start here and start a trail going straight out, and then come back and just start doing my mounds. I'm gonna try and take them, well, I might be better off starting here and shooting down the field that way, going long ways. So the four-wheeler is kind of working. If I keep on my momentum, I'm fine. But when I get down to the end, which is down a hill back there, you can't see the edge of our field. What happens is when I turn around and try and come uphill, it can't pull it and rake. It can pull it empty and just spinning, but it can't pull it and rake. The other issue I'm having is the little bolt keeps coming out. I just lost it in the grass right there. That's why it stopped raking. So I need to go find another bolt and then try and take off again, braking from this section. But I am getting the Windrows, so that is positive. It's just not probably as easy as I was hoping it would be with the four-wheeler, but ultimately the goal is just to get it raked up and ready for the baler. So I'll probably get that hay rake. If I get a better bolt for it, that'll solve a lot of my issues. I do like the maneuverability of the four-wheeler. We used to have a 550 four-wheeler that got stolen from our property. This is where I wish I had that four-wheeler, because it would not have a problem at all pulling that thing. 550 would work perfectly fine, but the 350, you know, just lacks a little bit of power coming back up the hill. But it's working. So I'm giving up on the four-wheeler for a couple of reasons. Number one, the muffler is high, but it's not high enough to clear some of the grasses, and I don't want to catch them on fire. On top of that, it started backfiring on me because it didn't like what I was asking it to do. And then number two, or that was two. Number three, I can't get it out of there. It's just, it doesn't have the power to pull that thing. I'm gonna have to use the tractor. I would use the truck, but I don't want to drive the truck through this grass for the same reasons. The muffler is gonna be kind of low. So I'm gonna go get some water, see if I can get the tractor started, then come out here and do a switcheroo on everything and just push that four-wheeler out into the woods or something. So sick of that thing.